terror attacks carried out by radical Islamists in Europe has doubled in the last year. That's according to a newly released report. Europol says the number of attacks reached 33 in 2017, way up on the 13 of the year before. The official death toll from the 2017 attacks was put at 62. Meanwhile, the latest opinion polls reveal EU citizens believe the main threats the continent face are immigration and terrorism, with nearly a third of those quizzed saying terror is now the most urgent issue. The head of one of the UK's main intelligence bodies, GCHQ, recognises the concerns.
These threats are more complex and more global, and none of us can defend against them alone. In the last year, we've played a critical role in the disruption of terrorist operations in at least 4 European countries.
OK, let's bring in David Lowe, terrorism expert and university lecturer at Liverpool John Moores University in the UK. Thanks for coming onto the programme, David. So the report shows the number of terror attacks has doubled in Europe in just a year. Is it an anomaly, or are we genuinely seeing a rise, or do you think the rate will continue to rise as rapidly as it's suggesting?
Oh, my dearest hope is the number of incidents will drop dramatically. I think it was an unprecedented year last year throughout the whole of Europe. We saw quite a number of low-level attacks, you know, with the use of vehicles, sharply bladed instruments like knives, which is relatively easy to carry out. But there were some ones where, certainly Barcelona, where they tried to use improvised explosive devices, as well as Parsons Green in London again. But fortunately, their knowledge of explosives wasn't sufficient for those bombs to detonate. So we were very lucky there. But I think lessons have also been learned every time there's an incident. They will sort of debrief what went well and what didn't go well and learn. But what's crucial, and you know, you listen to Interpol, there's also Europol within the EU, is cooperation between the policing agencies around the world. That is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned these low-level attacks. Nevertheless, it appears, doesn't it, that that it's getting worse. Certainly, in terms of the international community and the European community, we've heard lots and had lots of debates about how safe they feel. One example: a recent incident in France when a man armed with a knife tried to push a passer-by from a bridge. Again, stirring much debate whether that was a terror attack or not. Isn't there a problem with defining what a terror attack is, and where can the line be drawn?
Yeah, I think you're quite right there. It's trying to identify, and maybe an issue that's cropped up is there seems to be a delay between the police and officials declaring it was a terrorist attack, because you have to be quite clear on this. I mean, what was interesting was in Toronto a couple of months ago, we saw an individual drive a vehicle onto a road, and his cause was involuntary celibate. Now, is that a terrorist incident, or is that someone who, you know, for reasons known to themselves, they want to carry out this type of attack? What the danger is, people seeing how easy this relatively easy this can be. But lessons have also been learned. If you look at many major cities and towns and where there's open air events, there are physical precautions taken, obstructions and so on, to learn from it. But as you were saying there with the knife attack, I mean, is it an assault that's not terror related, or if it's a fatality, is it a murder that's not terrorist related? This is crucial to try and determine what it is and what resources to put into it.
Yeah, I mean, David, there's also, obviously, with the surge of these attacks last year, and you said it was unprecedented, lots of finger-pointing as well going on. And a Belgian prosecutor, for example, said that the main threat comes from those who've already crossed the border and now live in Europe. Where does the blame lie? Can we identify where that blame lies? Or are people, again, just trying to, you know, find answers to these questions?
Well, we always want to find answers, and answers are crucial, because that will help us in the future to make plans and strategies, and to see if, you know, if legislation needs to change, etc. quite clearly, I mean, what we also saw was it coincided with the fall of the loss of geographical territory for the likes of Islamic State, and of course returning fighters, wanting to get back to Europe, who left those shores to go and fight out there. So that's one cause of concern. But I think what is also, as you introduced this news story, is the director of GCHQ. You can still see the work going on behind the scenes, where 4 attacks in mainland Europe were prevented, and that's where this cooperation is vital. So yes, we're always looking for answers. It's easy to lay a blame somewhere, but I think we have to be careful when we do that. There are genuine refugees, certainly coming from the Middle East and the Syria region, and it's very easy to point a finger, but I think that shows, though, there has to be care. And I understand people's concerns, going out and about, because certainly when you look at some of these attacks, they're going out to enjoy themselves, and quite rightly, you go to enjoy yourself, you sort of drop your guard a bit, and that's what you should do. But I can understand people's concerns.
Yeah, OK. David Lowe, thanks very much for your expertise. Terrorism expert and university lecturer at Liverpool John Moores University. Great to have you on the programme.
Things are getting stranger and stranger. I just deleted my video on this topic because YouTube was suppressing the video, and I could tell it was going very south very quickly. I see how their algorithm is working, and I'm trying to work around it, okay? And it's a little tricky, and they just released a new release of it, and more videos have turned yellow. Isn't that nice of them? That's so nice. But so I had to delete it because it was going south, and I could tell it was messing with my channel. I'm looking at the news. The news is trying to cover this up, okay? Fact checking from Snopes. Did this really happen? Of course, the reason why my video went south was because I said certain words, and those words apparently are monitored by Big Brother at YouTube. So you're going to have to read what's on the screen here while I'm talking about this. I'm going to be avoiding certain words for a certain reason. All right, so they're trying to dismiss the claim and claim it was a homeless encampment, when in reality we know that's not the case. All right. If you watch this, I'm going to play some of it. It's pretty obvious this is not a homeless encampment. It's so obvious, actually. I think let's start with this one first. Let's go through this real quick.
This is a prison cell. Only kids are being held down here. And I can tell you exactly how. Come in. I remember this whole thing they built over to conceal this. And there's a plastic tube chamber in here where the kids are going in and out. We'll shine my light. You see a piece of wood, and it looks like that the wood gets slid down there, and the kids are crawling up. If you look down in there when they let them out.
Yeah.
But there's different toys down there, little food bags. You can actually stick it in pretty. And then that board's used to slide them up. Yeah. The only way, because they're not going to reach down in there and grab them, so I guess they're having them slide up. But this is all the way down there. A child's not going to be able to get out of here, small child.
All right, let's just think about this. Let's use our brains a little bit, because I like to use my brain when I try to figure out things, unlike certain people in the mainstream media. Yeah, so this is a septic tank on its side being used allegedly as a homeless shelter, according to the mainstream media. And they quickly jumped on this, of course. They quickly jumped on this. They want to tell you that it's a homeless encampment, of course. There's nothing going on here. The police already checked it out. Nothing happening. There's nothing here. Okay, although there's many things were found there. Okay, let's look. What is this word here? That was found there. There's cribs. There's cribs there. Okay, crib. You know what a crib is? All right, toys. Lots of little kid stuff, all right? They also have bands on the trees that appear to be some sort of handcuffs of some sort. You can't, this guy who's a Navy SEAL couldn't see any other use for it. This guy does this for a living. He literally goes around finding these people that do this, okay? And he does this all the time, and for some reason, they're quickly dismissing it. They're quickly dismissing it, saying, oh, there's nothing here. Nothing happened. And of course, Snopes jumped right on it. Oh my goodness, they got to tell us it's fake. That just makes me believe it more. Okay, so nothing here looks like what you would consider a homeless encampment, okay? Nothing. This is just a freaking joke. And it's just disgusting. The fact that they're trying to cover it up makes me think that this is some big play thing. This is being used by someone who has a lot of power. Okay? I'm sorry, but this is what I'm thinking. Why else would they jump on this like it's the biggest thing ever and are denouncing it, and everybody's got, articles up. Oh, this is a homeless encampment. Why are they doing it? Why do they care so much? You see what I'm getting at? Why are they dedicating so much time to this? Why is it no one can go there and look now? That's what it says as well in this article. Okay? Why does it not look like what you would expect for a homeless encampment? Why does it look like something of what they actually think this investigator says it is? Okay? It's really ridiculous that... And of course, who's dismissing it? Who's also dismissing it? I find this to be very interesting as well. Who's dismissing it? Where was it at? Let's see, it was down here. I found this to be very interesting, if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Right here. National Center for Missing, etc., etc. This group said nothing is there. Okay, now here's why this is interesting. Because guess where most of these crimes occur? Just so happens to be right around where they're located. Isn't that interesting? Let me show you this. I thought this was interesting, this comment down here. Here it is. This story reads like needs to spread like wildfire, and it's important to note that the National Center for Missing and etc., has some very suspicious activity within their own organization. The area with the most missing people just happens to be where they are located. See, I can't even see the words now. If I do, the video goes down. No one gets to see it. It gets demonetized and it goes down. Isn't that awesome? Ah! Such a great platform, isn't it? So, you can... If there was nothing there, why are they spending so much effort and resources to cover everything up? If there's nothing there, why are they doing it? If there's nothing there, why do I have to censor my own words to get anywhere? You have to ask yourself that question. Why? They're not doing it for no reason whatsoever. Okay? You don't cover things up when there's nothing there. It's not rocket science. Okay? This makes me believe it all the more. This makes me believe it all the more. That's how I see it. Okay? And these guys, by the way, I'm not even going to get into that, but you have to ask yourself when these guys came out and who were they covering for when they came out. And then you'll have your answer, okay? Came out during a certain presidential scandal, okay? Yeah, that's when they came out and they started covering up for him. And ever since, they've been covering up for him. So, of course, anything on their side. So, I mean, okay, I'm going to show you another video here. He's got a couple of these. Let's see here. This one here, too.
So, we're down here. We're off of the I-19 frontage road, Valencia I-19 exit. We're at an old cement plant. This is abandoned property. We're underground in a bunker that was built, and there's a little prison cell right over there behind you where the children were being held down in there. There's a swing and everything out there. And we believe that this place is going to be used again. They're going. If they don't know that we found it, then they're only using the spot. It's not an everyday thing. This is just a drop point. And I guarantee you there's probably more of these. They repeat these ideas, same as they do their tunnels. So now we have a starting point. We actually know what to look for, and they're a creature.
Isn't that interesting? What did he just say? Now we know what to look for. We have their design. We know what they do. Now we know what to look for. Could that be why they're jumping on this, like covering it up? Could that be why they want to cover it up so quickly? All these organizations want to cover it up and just tell you you're crazy. It's just a homeless encampment. You're an idiot. You're a moron. You see what I mean? So I think he's got a very good point there. Maybe they caught something of a design of how they usually do it. They know what to look for now, and apparently they don't like that. They don't want you to know how they do it. They don't want you to know anything about this stuff.
Of habits, so we know where their target areas are. This is easily accessible off I-19 corridor. So all the human trafficking is going up through Tucson. This is a spot where you're going to be able to hide children.
All right, so you get sort of the idea. This is what I'm talking about, man. I just find this to be very ridiculous how our world is. Our world is sick and depraved and disgusting. And, you know, honestly, our world is just a lie. Everything you see around you is a lie. It's like they want you to believe lies all the time. It's just amazing to me. And they don't want you to hear the truth. This is how I see it. I mean, this actually pisses me off. This actually pisses me off. Why would they dismiss it so quickly? All of them in unison, okay? All of them in unison. Look, what do we see at the top? No evidence. Fact check. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see what we've got more here. Let's go look at more. Dismiss claims. Conspiracy. You guys are crazy. Stop reading this stuff. You see what I mean? I mean, give me a break. This is so ridiculous. Okay, let's just check this out. Let's see what we got here. All right, okay, this is just an article of some sort. And it's interesting how all these local news outlets, they literally say the exact same thing sometimes every day, verbatim, word verbatim. And most of these local news organizations are owned by the same company, and they give out a script to them. So what? I mean, this is a joke. They call this news. This is a joke. This is a complete joke. Okay, this is my rant. I'm really sick and tired of this bull. It seems like no one wants you to know the truth anymore. They want to hide everything from you. They want you to believe whatever they're going to feed you. It's disgusting. And it really gets to me.